Welcome to Belhaven High Scholars. This is Mary Fredericks. I am the High Scholars Director, and I know most of you, I've either spoken to you on the phone or by email, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you much better over the next 2 years. We realize how important parents are to the lives of our students, and we want to include you in everything that we're doing, and we thank you for partnering with us in these courses. So I just could not help but include this little picture taken from 1920s of Belhaven College. It's our very high-tech department with the typewriters and so forth. I think you'll agree we've come quite a long ways. So I've got some PowerPoints here. I'm hoping that it'll help to keep me on track and I won't get too off subject. So we know that you decided to take High Scholars because you wanted more for your student than just credits on a transcript. And I think what this student says here says it best. Little did I know how amazing, eye-opening, influential, encouraging, and empowering this course would be. From the beginning of the world up to current events, I have learned more than I ever thought possible about history, art, and literature. Proverbs 4:13 says, hold on to instruction. Do not let it go. Guard it well, for it is your life. I definitely will hold on to the instruction I have gained these 4 semesters. It is so precious to me and my walk with God. And I hope that every one of our students will be able to say that after their experience with High Scholars. And our promise to you as faculty and staff is that we will do everything possible to make that happen. So let's start with a few terms. BU, of course, stands for Belhaven University. The website is simply belhaven.edu. And if you want to go to the High Scholars pages, you simply add a /high-scholars. BHS, you're going to hear that a lot. That stands for Belhaven High Scholars. BlazeNet, that's the Central Student Information area on the website. It's where you'll find your student accounts, you'll be paying your bills there. It's the portal to email and Canvas. It has a number of how-to videos and announcements and so forth. So that'll be a useful site for you. Canvas is our learning management system, sometimes referred to as LMS. Students will be using the Canvas site every day. Quad is an old English term that stands for where the students and faculty meet in the center of campus to discuss. So we think it fits very well to our discussion-based classes. Your students will be meeting twice a week in a quad. Either Monday or Tuesday, they'll meet with a history teacher for 90 minutes. And then on either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on their section, they'll meet with the English teacher for 60 minutes and the art teacher for 30 minutes. And don't minimize that art discussion. It's many times the frosting on the cake for our students. Adobe is our web conferencing system that we'll be using for Quad. And just a little reminder, your students do need to have a headset, be in a quiet place so they can get the most out of those discussions. So very often parents will ask me, what do I do if my student has to miss some quads? We're going on a missions trip or something like this. We understand that. We understand that homeschool students are very involved with many, many different things. We, of course, hope that they will make all of the classes, but occasionally they may have to miss. And what we want the students to do is to make arrangements in advance. That's the important words, arrangements in advance, to submit assignments early so that they get it all done before they go on their trip or have this special event. When they get home, they should watch the recorded quad lecture. Not lecture, sorry, the quad discussion time. And then if perchance your student has something where it looks like they're going to be missing more than 3 or 4 times in any given class subject, please have them contact me so we can talk it through and kind of see what's going on, make some plans. Okay, schedule. It's very, very important. We hope that you will work with your students, sit down as a family at the beginning of the year and look at that Students Week at a Glance, which is posted on the website, and see, you know, what works best for your family and for your student, and make sure that he's not pushing everything into 1 or 2 days out of the week. We want him to work on his high scholar subjects a little bit every day of the week and spread it out that way. So assignments are due before quad, and what that means is if your student has a 7 o'clock quad, his assignments have to be in at before 7. That means 6:59 or hopefully the night before. Because if those assignments are late, it's recorded and the faculty member will take points off. Homework extensions should be very, very rare, but of course, if your student gets sick or there's something unexpected that comes up, our faculty, you'll find our faculty very, very gracious, and they'll work with your student on those make-up assignments in those rare occasions. We don't expect it to happen very often, if at all. So, don't forget about the Belhaven website. We hope that you'll send all your friends and relatives there as they plan for future courses for their students. There's some things that you'll still want to refer to there. Students Week at a Glance is on the website. Of course, the course titles and credits, class schedule and term dates, the book list, and just a whole number of other things. So don't forget to look there if you have some questions. This is what I keep bringing up, and it's just a very simple outline of what might help guide you in determining what your student does each day. And there's also one, this is Monday, Wednesday, but there's one for Tuesday, Thursday sections as well. Canvas, that's the site where your student will be going every day to pick up assignments, to read the handouts, to go to quad and so forth. Let's look now at a short video that Mr. Villarreal has produced that'll kind of give you a tour of this Canvas site and let you get a little glimpse into what your students are seeing every day.
We're going to go ahead and click on this link for art, and this will take us to the front of the course page. First off, in the upper middle there, you may see the name of the professor along with the email address. So this is the instructor for art, and along with the email address. Below there, you'll see quad time. Now, quad time is the meeting time. This is the online meeting that will take place using a web conferencing software, Adobe Connect. And this class meets at 1:15 to 1:45 Central Time. Well, how does a student attend Art Quad? You might see that link right below there. I'll go ahead and click on it. It says Attend Art Quad. And that's the link that students will click on when it's time for them to attend their online classroom. They will select Enter with your login and password, and this information will be provided to the student when it's time for him or her to log in. So that's how they would attend Quad. Let's hit the back button. Let's go back now to the front of our course page. Below the link for Attend Art Quad, you'll see assignment instructions. Now this area here will vary depending on the course for English, history, and so forth. So you'll see various handouts and so forth as far as what's in this upper block here. Now for this course, below assignment instructions, you'll see Culture Quad Recordings. If this were a history class, it would say History Quad Recordings. English would say English Quad Recordings. All of the lectures in the High Scholars Classroom are recorded, and so a student can go back and view and listen to all of the content, the conversation that took place within Quad. So if there's something a student wants to hear again, they'll be able to do so by coming to the front of the course page and clicking on the Quad Recordings link. Below there you'll see in the library, and then a link for BlazeNet or email questions, which has a phone number and contact information if a student has a BlazeNet or email question. Now let's scroll down, just look at the layout of a course. Now there's not much going on here in week 1 since it is an orientation period for art. So let's go down to week 2. And if we look at week 2, we'll see at the hall, in my study, and on the quad. And if we briefly go down to week 3, you'll see the same thing again. At the hall, in my study, and on the quad. And this will have the same layout all the way down the course. And this will be the case for art, for history, for literature. You'll see those labels at the hall, in my study, and on the quad. And let's talk about each of these. First off, at the hall is where, as you can see, lecture notes and PowerPoints are. So the student can click on this link and view and download the lecture notes that are associated with the lecture for this particular week, which is week 2 for this course. And below the PowerPoint link, you'll see there's a link for the Aztecs and Incas. So this is a video lecture, and the PowerPoints and notes will associate with this lecture. This is what students will click on to view the lecture for the week. So again, at the hall, we'll have PowerPoints, notes, and handouts along with the links for the video lectures. Below at the hall is in my study, and this is where students will click on the link to submit their assignment. As we saw a couple of minutes ago, Mary had already submitted her handout for week 1, and then she had clicked on this link to take her quiz. And so that's how she would go about doing that, or any student would go about clicking on the link from the course page when it's time to submit the assignment. And on the quad, you'll see participation links, various other handouts, depending on that particular course. And again, this layout will follow throughout the term. You'll see all of these labels, again, whether it's history, art, or literature, that same layout will appear for all of the course sections. Now let's scroll up. Let's talk about grades for a moment. You notice here on the left-hand side, there's a link for grades. We'll go ahead and click on that, and that will take us to the grade book for Mary. So this is how a student can go in and view the grade book and see how they're doing so far. So we can see there are a couple of assignments that have been submitted. These are the same ones that we viewed from the dashboard. And if you notice, this is her total grade so far. So she has 90% for the 2 assignments that she has submitted. If you notice to the right of the handout number 1, there's this little small chat icon. This lets the student know that the professor has left feedback for the student. So we could just click on that chat icon, and then we will be able to view the feedback that the professor has left. We'll view this in another area in the front of the course page here in just a second. To get back to the front of the course page, we could just click on the name of the course, or we could just click on Home on the left-hand side, and this will take us back to the front of the course page. Let's go ahead and talk about viewing the feedback. Now, we did see one area where you could view that feedback that has been left for the student from the gradebook. You also will see this, which we saw from the dashboard, recent feedback. This time we're just going to click on the link for handout number 1, and this will take us to the area to where we can see the assignment that the student submitted, and then we can read the full comments that have been left for the student. So this is just another way that the student can read the feedback that have been left to the student by the professor. Another really important and helpful area to keep an eye on are the announcements. Any announcements that the professor leaves for the students will populate in this area. So we'll go ahead and click on announcements. Now, there's not much here because this is early in the term. There's just the one welcome announcement. But as the term unfolds, so announcement 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth will all populate here. So instead of sorting through your email, which all the announcements will go to the Belhaven Student Mail account, it's really nice and convenient to be able to click on announcements and see it all in the order in which they were sent. So you can see all the announcements that have been communicated and access them easily at any time. So let's go back now to the front of the course page, and then we'll go ahead and just click on dashboard to bring us back to the dashboard. So in this demonstration, we looked at how to log into Canvas. We talked about what Canvas was, which is the learning management system that students will utilize to view their videos, to submit assignments, take their exams, and so forth. And we also talked about the dashboard, which is how students will access their courses when they get ready to attend Belhaven's High Scholars program.
So back to that time management question. Everyone who does the work in High Scholars passes the course. Most of our students get high grades. The only thing that can hold a student back is poor time management. So let me explain what I mean by that. Meet the twin troublemakers, perfectionist and procrastinator. They can wreak havoc with your students' schoolwork. The perfectionist will spend hours and hours writing and rewriting, doing extra research, and spending way more time on his assignments than is necessary. If he's asked to write a sketch, he might, not write, but draw a sketch. He might do a Van Gogh type artistic work. It's not necessary. So kind of watch out for that. If your student is just spending too many hours you think is excessive, let us know. We can work with him. We can talk him through that little hang up that he might have with perfectionism. Procrastination. Reason tells him he should get going on his work, but that mischievous little monkey keeps getting the best of his good intentions. So consequently, the panic monster has to get involved, resulting in poorly done or late submissions. So if you haven't already, I'd encourage you to look at the TED Talks video and the Bible verses that I put in the May Homeschool Companion. Might give you a little help and encouragement in that area. If your student seems to be getting overwhelmed, if unfinished assignments are piling up, call us, call me. We can help get your student back on track. We don't want this to happen. So this is just a little note about some of the assignments you're going to hear in C from our history teachers. They have a lot of fun making interesting assignments, but they do it for a purpose. They have the students maybe do a sketch or a cartoon or a skit or a sermon, a news clip, things that are really fun for them to do, but some of the students might think, that's not college work. Well, yes it is. The point is that these assignments are designed to give your students the opportunity to use all of their gifts and intelligences and to make the material really memorable. They're assignments that involve real personal effort and intelligence, help them to really get the concept. So kind of look at that with an open mind when you see some of those assignments. I think your students will have fun with them. Communication, extremely important. Call me anytime. I love to hear from parents. Just be sure that you include your student's name, year, and section. And as a means of helping students mature, here's a little caution. Please let your student communicate directly with their teachers whenever possible. We think that's an important step in that bridge to adulthood. So we have 2 e-newsletters. One is the Homeschool Companion, and it has articles and webinar announcements that we feel are helpful for parents and educators of young adults. Please encourage others to subscribe. It's for everybody. We currently have close to 1,000 subscriber families, so please spread the word. We'd like to keep that going. And the other newsletter is just for you, and that's the BHS Parent Companion. And it has notices and information that are very important. If you're like me, the first thing you do in the morning is maybe click off all the things that you think are advertisements or unnecessary. don't click this one off. Please open it, because it usually has something important, like an announcement about assignments or upcoming break or something like that. If you're not getting either one of these, please let me know. So transcripts, I get a lot of questions about transcripts. There is already information posted on Canvas, which your student can find for you, that talks you through how to get those, either an unofficial or an official transcript. I'll also send out a notice about this in the spring. So just remember that English is integrated. So that means the English and the composition class is all one class, except that when it comes to their transcript, they will get separate 3 credits for each. And Year 2 Art receives 3 credits. Courses are listed after the final grades are submitted, so that's going to be the end of May. So I thought this would be a very nice quote to end with, just as a means of a little bit of encouragement. One of our students wrote this very recently. Never has any other program impacted my life mentally, physically, and spiritually than this course. The workload feels overwhelming sometimes, but run the race, because crossing the finish line is entirely rewarding. So thank you for joining me today. I hope this was a little helpful and encouraging to you.